Yes, 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 yes. It's one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Machel St. Patrick Hewitt. What a really weird way to start, because I'm chewing on a Haribo sweet at the moment as I open the intro for this Rum Shot Diaries special. If you're live with us, jump in the comments, share with your peoples, let them know Caribbean Cricket Podcast is out here. We're doing a live. What is it? About just under 24, not 24, yeah, just under 24 hours until West Indies get their World Cup T20 campaign off against England. Two of the alleged favourites for the tournament go head-to-head in the second game of the main competition. Australia, South Africa kick us off early in the morning UK time, but then it's the big main event, West Indies versus England. How you doing, all my people? Cledwin says, what's up? What's up, my general? How you doing? Big up everybody. Big up Gaming Champion. I see you. Big up everybody who is live with me. Royal Dang says, you are very overconfident on Twitter. That's how we roll, though. That's how West Indies move. We big up our team with our chest. And if we lose, we lose. But we're world champions for a reason. When we touch down, everything shell down. Yes, so people, let's get straight into it. I'm not planning to do a long one. If you're wondering where's Santoki and why isn't he part of this, he's currently packing his bags because he is flying to Dubai, and he'll be at the West Indies South Africa game later on, next week. So look out for some live content from Santoki, because he will be out there for maybe 2 matches of the competition. So I'm on my ones today to try I'm on my ones today to kind of go through this and look at the dynamics and what I think is actually a big selection headache for the not just the opening game, but the World Cup in general. But it's like I say, this isn't going to be long. I'm looking at the timing, and I'm going to try and cut this down to half an hour. So if you've got any comments, by all means, do jump in, etc., etc. Do you know what, Royal Dang, though? I'm not actually doubling down on the overconfidence. I genuinely, this is the only time I'm going to be tempered during the course of this whole World Cup. Do I think we'll win? Losing Fabian Allen is a massive blow, right? But if West Indies make it to the semi-final, I genuinely believe we'll win. If we have momentum and we get to the semis, I would be shocked if we lose. That's it. So I'm not necessarily saying we will definitely 100% win, but if we get to the semis, I think we'll win. Is basically where I'm at. So yeah, let's get into it. And actually, Jonathan's probably got the best point to start off with, and Contact. So Contact says, do you have any worries with Fabian out of the batting lineup? Not necessarily. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Not necessarily, but you'll see in a second. And Jonathan, hey Mash, hope you're well. From the corners I'm mixing, it's widely predicted that Moeen is going to open the bowling for us, as they think your left-handers are vulnerable to that in the power play. That's what I'm expecting. And I would be surprised if West Indies aren't expecting that, which will have a big kind of say in how the team is constructed. So actually, let's get into that. So I was going to write down the team, and I probably should have done, but I'm going to talk the team instead. So let's go with the openers first and foremost. And by all means, anybody I mention, if you disagree with what I'm saying, put your comments in the chat and so on and so forth. The openers are going to be Evan Lewis and Lendl Simmons. There are lots of you who will say Chris Gayle should open. It's not happening. Unless there's an injury, it's not happening. It's going to be Evan Lewis and it's going to be Lendl Simmons. Two main reasons why. One, that's been the partnership that they've gone with through the summer. They're not going to suddenly make a change now unless there was an injury. And two, more importantly, it's a left-handed, right-handed batsman. And like Jonathan, when I put his comment up, if England want to put a spinner in the power play, you're going to need Lendl Simmons as a off spinner. Sorry, you're going to need Lendl Simmons as a right-handed bats there. We are left-handed dominant, so it's important that you start with a left-hand, right-hand for any potential bowling attack that's going to try and exploit the glut of left-handers that we have at the top of our order. So I would be shocked if it's not Evan and Lendl. I don't necessarily agree. I personally would want Chris Gayle at the top of the order, but I do not think that's going to happen. It's Lendl and it's Evan. Like I say, if you agree, cool. If you disagree, put your comments in. I'll try and put you live, etc. So Greg Best is saying Simmons is needed. Completely agree. Gaming Champion says Simmons. I hope that means Simmons in form. I don't know. I don't know if he is in form or not, but you've got Simmons there. But I know there will be a lot of you saying it should be Gale. If Gale's going to play, lots of you will say it should be Gale opening. But I think we're set on Gale at 3. So my team is Evan and Lendl 1 and 2. Now here's the number 3 position for me, and this is probably the first big issue that people are going to have with what I say. For me, Chris Gale starts the tournament. That's the reality. Jump in the comments immediately if you disagree with me. Chris Gale starts the tournament. I don't know if he'll end the tournament, but he is starting in the first game. In your first game, you go with your most experienced lineup, and Chris Gale starting. Whether you like it or whether you not, or whether you don't, I would be shocked if Chris Gale isn't at number 3 tomorrow. And I think Chris will get 2 games, the first 2 games, to prove if he should continue. You also have to remember with Chris Gale, for all the facts that people think, oh, he's lost it and this, that, and the other. Chris Gale and Pooran's another one are fantastic against leg spin. Now, England are going to play Adil Rashid. If Chris Gale even gets one look at Adil Rashid, it could be curtains for England. So Gale's in. Gale's in. I'm not even going to spend too much more time on it. To me, it's obvious. Gale is in at 3. Like I say, that doesn't mean I think he'll continue to play through the whole tournament, but he's starting the tournament. And I think most of you know that. Whether you agree with it or not, I think most of you know that's going to be the case. And I think Contact's put here, I agree, first 2 games for Gale, and then we go from there. Cledwin saying Chris Gale isn't going to be left out of the 11, especially since he thumped England. Exactly. All of those points I think are valid. Royal Dang says no disagreement. 14 sixes in one game. I don't know about that, but I think all of us kind of acknowledge that Gale has to be in to start. Well, has to be strong, but he's going to be in initially for the first game. And I think whether you agree with it or not, I think you understand why he would be for the first game. So to recap, I've got Evan at 1, Lendl at 2, Gale at 3. Now, here's the first problem I've got with the team. Thank God Santoki isn't on this one with me, because I think that Roston Chase and Shimron Hetmeyer are fighting for the same position. Not necessarily at number 4, but what I mean is it's one of the two of them. They can't both play in the team, not in the first game. If you have Gale at 3, you cannot have Roston and Hetty in the team because the rest of there's too many players to fit in after that. So, Carly saying, please don't say no Hetty. Listen, I've got no horse in this race, But for me personally, if I'm saying it's between Hetty or Chase, Hetty has to play. Not at number 4, but if I'm saying that the issue now is who gets in, Chase or Hetty, I'm not convinced Chase plays against England. I know that means you've only got one main spinner then. You'll see why I say that in terms of whether it's Akil Hussain or Hayden Walsh Jr. But Chase, I don't think Chase gets in necessarily for this first game. And if he gets in, you have to drop Hetmeyer. So I'm putting this to you, the crowd. Are you willing to drop Hetmeyer to fit in Chase? I just don't see it. I don't know if I see that. Now, Vincent raises a good point. Chase is there to break up the left-right combinations because obviously, yeah, you're right, Vincent, because once you have Gale, then there's a Pooran, and then, well, I've said it's Chase or Hetmeyer, but yes, you've got too many left-handers coming. So technically, Chase should be there to break up all the left-handers, but like I say, I think it's about Hetty or Chase. Chase offers the off-spin, but the question some of you have to ask yourself is, do we need Chase's off-spin versus England? I don't know where I stand on that. Okay, so I'm going Hetty for argument's sake, which means Pooran would be at 4. So Gale at 3, Pooran at 4. We know Pooran. There's no point discussing Pooran. We know that Pooran's in the team, right? Pooran at 4, Hetmeyer at 5, Pollard at 6, Russell at 7. Notice how I've not paused because Pooran Pollard and Russell, there's no discussion there. We all know those are non-negotiables. They're all playing. So that's why I'm saying to you, if I've got Russell at 7 after Pollard, you see why I'm saying you see why I'm saying it's got to be Hetmeyer or Chase. It can't be both. And the only way you get Hetmeyer and Chase in the team is if you drop Gale. But all of you are agreeing with me that Gale is definitely going to probably play the first match. So someone has to drop out. It's Chase or Hetmeyer. Put in the comments who you would have. Do you keep Hetmeyer in or do you drop Chase? Is it Hetmeyer or is it Chase? You lot tell me where you would go with that. Now, actually, Gaming Champion, you've put the laughing emoji, but actually, I don't think that is a joke. Because those who are saying Chase has to be there to break up the left-handers, it would not surprise me to see Bravo come up the order if they want to do that. Remember, T20 is a fluid game, right? You don't... The modern T20 or this version of T20 that people currently play, a lot of it's about entry points. Nobody's necessarily got a fixed position. It depends on the state of the match. So breaking up the left-handers that you lot would want for a chase, Bravo could play that exact same role. Rotate, strike, let the big hitters do their thing. So I don't think we have to be that set on, okay, it's got to be Chase because he's there to break up the left-handers. Bravo can do that job as well. And if we're trying to accelerate, Pollard does that job. You bring in Pollard early instead, depending on the context of the match. So I'm not as stuck on this idea but Chase is there to break up the left-handers, because I see Bravo being able to do that exact same job as well. Remember what Bravo was doing in CPL for St. Kitts. He showed many times in that tournament that he could come in early and marshal an innings and set a foundation. Like, Bravo's rediscovered his batting this year. Even in the summer for West Indies, there were a few games where they experimented with Bravo coming in early. So I'm not convinced that they're stuck on the idea that it must be Chase or nobody else. Okay, I think they will. I think there's options to accelerate with entry points for both Bravo and or Pollard. So the team, if you're following, that I've got so far is and sorry, let me address this point from Mario. Yes, CPL isn't the T20 World Cup, but CPL is what we've got to go on in terms of players playing. That's why we picked Chase. So if we're saying CPL is in the 2020 World Cup, we picked Chase off the back of it, and Bravo is Bravo. So to me, that's much of a muchness. So as I was saying, so the team that I've got: Evan at 1, Lendl at 2, Gale at 3, Puran at 4, Hetmeyer at 5, Pollard at 6, Dre Russ at 7. None of those positions after Gale are set. All of them will depend on the context of the match and different entry points, etc. So a Puran, for example, you put a Puran in if all goes well and there's spin on, and you know that Puran's going to marmalize the spin bowling, for example. So it's all about entry points for positions 4 down to 7 with Dre Russ. Now, obviously, Fabian is gone, which is a blow. It's a blow. Obviously, we know what Fabian can offer from an all-round perspective in all 3 facets of the game: batting, fielding, bowling, etc. But it's not the end of the world, as I'll explain. Number 8 will be Bravo, nominally, when a team sheet is handed in. And we obviously know that Bravo is a lock. We don't need to discuss that. So then it's about 9, 10, and 11. Now, my 9, 10, and 11 is Akil Hussain. I think Akil Hussain goes straight into the team. Looking at the England batting order, so you've got who up top? You've got Jason Roy and Josh Butler, both right-handers. Do not be surprised if Akil Hussain plays tomorrow and he bowls in the power play. That's what I'm expecting, personally. 2 right-handers at the top, and you've got a left-handed bowler who's better than Fabian Allen in terms of bowling. I think you have to have Akil Hussain. I think you have Akil Hussain in the power play. You know that Roy and Butler are going to try and go after him, but Akil has had a stellar year in ODI cricket. I know it's not T20s, but ODI. And also, Akil had the best economy rate in CPL. Whether you think CPL is good or not, he had the best economy rate after Narayan. Took more wickets than Narayan, and his economy rate was about the same as Narayan's. So Akil is the option as the left-arm spinner who's got a better economy than Fabian. So I go with Akil, and I hope you lot understand why I'm saying that. Then after Akil, Hayden Walsh can't make my team then. So Hayden Walsh is out for me. And actually, Cledwin's just put up as I was about to say it. I like Hayden. He's a hard-working player. He gives his all. I just don't think tomorrow's the game for Hayden to be playing. Not versus England. No, I can't have Hayden Walsh in my team. Not versus England. They will go after him, and probably dent his confidence. So Hayden can't be in my team tomorrow. I've got Akil Hussein at 9. Then I've got Obed McCoy at 10, and then I've got Ravi Rampal at 11. That's my side. Okay, Ravi Rampal is going to be the power play bowler. He has to be in the team. They're going to trust Ravi to bowl 2 up front in the power play, more than likely with Akil Hussain, you would imagine. Now, cricket tack, good. This is my issue. Yes, there's only one spinner. Now, this is why I'm talking enough quick on this one, but it's because the comments you lot are bringing means I'm just moving. But that's a big issue, cricket tack, that there's only one spinner in the team on my side. And I don't think we should be going in with one spinner. But then that means we go back to the original point I was making. Do you have Roston Chase in then? But if you have Roston Chase in to also bowl spin, Hetmeyer has to come out. And that's what I was saying to you lot. You tell me, it's Chase or Hetmeyer. If you really wanted to balance the side, you'd drop Gale and you'd have Chase and Hetmeyer both in the team. But I just don't think Gale's going. I just don't believe that Gale will be dropped in the first or won't play in the first game. You have to play Gale in that first game, which is why, and some of you are saying it. I think Contact said it. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if they want more spin bowling. I think they'll ask Gale to do it. I think they'll ask him to do a little bit of off-spin bowling, maybe chucking a 1 over. If there's one thing about Pollard's captaincy, Pollard isn't afraid to just try different things at various different times. So I wouldn't be surprised if they say to Gale, you know what? Time for your dibbly-dobbly off-spins. And listen, Gale's off-spins are underrated, Don't sleep on Gale's darts with those off-spins. So don't be surprised if Gale bowled an odd over here or there. So this is how I have my, I'll read my 11 out again in terms of what I've got. Evan, Lendl, Royal Dang saying Lendl out. But Evan, Lendl, Universe Boss, Puran, Hetmeyer, Pollard, Dre Russ, Bravo, Akil Hussain, Obed McCoy, Ravi Rampal. That's my 11, right? And then in terms of my bowlers, so in terms of how I see this being allocated, Bravo, McCoy, Rampal are bowling 12 between the three of them. They're gonna bowl all of their allocation. I assume we're going to see Bravo and McCoy at the death. Possibly even Rampal might have 2 at the death. So maybe McCoy through the middle, Bravo through the middle, and then at the death, and Ravi at the in the power play and at the death possibly as well. They're going to bowl their 12, and I think they're going to bowl a lot of off-cuff. With Bravo and Obed, loads of variations, probably lots of slower balls. With Rampal, off-cutters. That's what I'm expecting to see. So 12 from those 3, right? Then your next... Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. 12 from those 3, 4 from Akil. So that's 16 overs, right? Which means you have 4 overs left. Yes, Chatil, good point. Russell could bowl at the death as well. I always forget that. So Akil bowls 4, which is 16. So to recap that again, Ravi 4, Obed 4, Bravo 4, Akil 4. And actually, see those 16 overs? I actually think that's quite strong, I know everyone's down on our bowling, but I actually think that 16 overs from those 4, I expect to be quite strong. Then it's about what you do with the remaining 4. And I think Pollard will just mix and match it. You might get a 1 from Gale and a 2 from Russell and a 1 from Pollard. You might. Or you might get 3 from Russell, 1 from Gale. Or, depending on how Russell's bowling, you might get Russell bowl 4. Or you might get Pollard bowl 2 and Russell bowl 2. This basically the other 4 overs I expect to come from some kind of amalgamation of Dre Russ, Pollard, and Chris Gale if needed. If they think the pitch is taking a bit, they will chuck it to Chris and say, come in, bowl a little 1, maybe even bowl a second over. They might even, don't be even surprised if I know that one. I was about to say Chris Gale in the power play. That's not happening, but don't be surprised if they mix and match it with those remaining 3. So that's my side. That's my side. So the 4 players I've got missing for the first game. I don't think Roston gets in for the first game. I don't think Hayden Walsh gets in for the first game. And they're really the only 2 that you have to consider, because obviously Fletcher's not getting in and obviously O'Shane Thomas isn't getting in. So really, for those who are debating about how the side should be made up, it's whether you, the crowd, those who are watching, and thank you for all the viewers, quite a lot of you are in here. It's whether you, the crowd, believe that either Hayden must get in, and if so, who you bringing in, who you getting, who you bringing Hayden in for, and if you believe Roston should come in, who's dropping out for Roston. Now, thank you, Demo. I always forget this, I never say this. Demo says hit the like button. Yeah, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, share it. I always forget to say that stuff. That's how you know that we don't properly understand what we're doing with YouTube. But yeah, respect if any of you have hit the like button or you've shared it with people. Please do that as well. Yeah, so that's my 11. I mean, got about what I said I'd be done within half an hour. So my timer says I've got about 8 minutes left. So now I'm just going to respond to any comments or throw some comments up, really. Yeah, smash that subscribe button now. I'm gonna really respond to what you lot are saying and maybe vibe off those points. So Drew is saying England have too many. Yes, right. So Drew, I agree with this. So, but then my point is, people see what Drew's saying there. It says England have too many left-handers to ignore Roston's off-spin. Yes, I totally understand that. So he should be playing. But Drew, who you dropping them? Who you dropping? Gale or Hetmeyer? Because it can only be one of those 2. Or Simmons, but I don't see them dropping Simmons because of how many left-handers West Indies have. So it's Gale or Hetmeyer. Who you dropping for Chase if we're doing that? Yeah, contact, I agree. I think there should be the option to explore that if Lendl doesn't get off, do you put Gale in at opening? I don't think they should just be 100% committed to Chris playing at 3 if he is going to play in the tournament. They shouldn't be afraid to say, Lendl, it's not working. Chris, go and open. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that, contact, and that will be obviously tournament and games depending. Yeah, I agree with this. Hayden gets in for a seamer, but it depends on the pitch they're playing on. Yep, totally. I just don't feel confident with Hayden versus England in particular. Yeah, this is a good point here. Should be worried about the warm-up games? Personally, no, I'm not. And I'm not going to talk too much because I think I've said a bit, whether on Twitter itself or on some other pods that I've jumped on recently. But across those 2 warm-up games versus Pakistan and Afghanistan, West Indies hit 3 sixes in total. They weren't taking it seriously. I refuse to believe that they were taking those 2 games seriously. A West Indies team that's competitive and even a team that's losing is still going to hit more sixes than 3 sixes across 2 matches. There was nothing to play for. There's no reason to win. So they weren't even like living or dying by the sword, i.e. the bat. So no, I don't think they were taking it that serious. I think some players were just getting their eye in. I think some players were playing for specific phases of the game and practicing their skill set. I don't think much else was happening other than that. What we got here? Here we go. Are you confident of Rampol versus? Well, Chatil, you're valid. I can't disagree with you per se. What I do know is what West Indies have lacked through the summer is a power play bowler that they trust. They tried Fidel, didn't work. As much as Jason should probably have been in the 15, it actually didn't work with Jason in the power play this summer either. And then Jason made it worse by having a shocking CPL. They tried Sheldon. Sheldon has been off for a while now. Not bad, but just a bit off. So I understand why they are I understand why they're going for Rampol, as they've looked at obviously CPL, they looked at what he did in Super 50 as well. Remember, and Rampol's, I think everyone's forgotten that Rampol's played in the T20 World Cup before. He's done the power play bowling before. So this isn't, I think we mustn't forget that Rampol is actually experienced. Okay. He's not just some random old guy who's coming from nowhere. Crick Tack, lots of people are saying stop the spamming. So I've had to quickly block you, because you're moving mad. So people, I just had to block Crick Tack. Apologies for that. But sometimes a man has to hold a block, we lick them when we touch down, But so let's see what Let's see what Brian's saying. Yeah. An underrated thing is Fabian and Hayden. Yeah. Akil's a solid fielder. Fabian, I think, remember, Fabian's a triple threat. He can bat, he can bowl, and he's probably the best fielder in our side. But it just is what it is with Fabian. I do think losing Fabian disrupts the balance a bit of the side, but arguably you could say that bringing Akil in makes our spin bowling better on paper, certainly. But we shall see how that plays out. Where are we? Drew, Rampol was preferred over Cottrell. You're not going to have Cottrell and McCoy as both left arm seamers. That's once McCoy had shown his ability and talent for the summer, you weren't going to get Cottrell in starting at the same time. I agree with that. Chatil, Rampol has lost pace, relies more on variations and movement. Yeah, I agree. But we just have to see. I think for me, Ravi has earned his spot. He's earned his opportunity, and we just now have to see. If we have to cuss him, we'll cuss him after we see if he struggles. But me personally, I've got a lot of faith in Ravi. I think Ravi is a very, very clever bowler. There'll be a few matches where he takes licks, but I'm expecting him to take wickets as well. So, and more importantly, Pollard trusts Ravi. You have to have a captain that trusts his bowler. And one thing I can guarantee is Pollard trusts Ravi. And more importantly, knows how to use Ravi. So we shall see. And you see Demo's back in me. He says Ravi's going to shock many people. I think so as well, Demo. I've got a lot of faith behind Ravi here. But like I say, we shall see. Jonathan, so I ummed and ahed about this all week. So those of you who don't know, I'm a big football fan, and the team I support is Bromley. For those of you who aren't in England, they're in the 5th tier of football. It's called the National League, for those of you who aren't aware. So I've supported them since I was 14 years old, and I go home and away and have watched them home and away every year of my life, pretty much since I started following them. Tomorrow, they're playing Aldershot away, and initially, both games start at the same time, England, West Indies, and Aldershot, Bromley. But I have forsaken Bromley for West Indies. And in fact, if any of you are looking for radio commentary, I'll be on Guerrilla Cricket tomorrow, giving the West Indian perspective. So I'll actually be doing some comms on Guerrilla Cricket tomorrow for the whole of the England-West Indies match. So if any of you are radio fans, or you prefer to listen to radio commentary over the TV comms, you might be one of those people who watches the TV pictures but listens to radio comms. I'll be with Guerrilla Cricket for the West Indies England game, and a few others for the tournament, just obviously giving the West Indian perspective. So if you're a fan of Guerrilla Cricket or you know about them, go check them out. And yeah, like I say, I'll be on comms tomorrow with the Guerrilla Cricket team. So look out for that, people. I'm probably going to try bring this to a close now. So let me just see. Drew says they were actually trying to hit, just not connecting. Okay, we'll see. Drew. Let's see how it plays out tomorrow. Last few points before I wrap this up. Ideally, Gale doesn't start, but I agree with you that he will. Chase is too versatile and valuable to leave. Yeah. So you drop Simmons and make Gale open. Okay, I hear that, but I just don't see them dropping Simmons either. But I hear you, though. I totally understand that. Cuss out of the fallout tomorrow. I'll drop one, actually. You know what? Actually, yeah, after the game, I'll try and drop a live one later on in the evening after the game and just give my views on it. Those of you who don't know about Guerrilla Cricket, go check them out. They do live commentary basically on all cricket. They're covering every single match of the World Cup. So if you're someone who's always looking for a radio feed, check out Guerrilla Cricket. And I'd like to say at least 3 out of the 5 matches, I'll be on comms for the West Indies games. So if you're if you're a radio guy, go check out Guerrilla Cricket. Literally type Guerrilla Cricket into Google and it'll take you straight to their website. Last few questions. Contact, slightly worried, which is why probably Chase should be playing maybe. Or no, in fact, no, because I think Hetmeyer should be doing the strike rotation. Slightly worried, but I'm willing to wait to see how the first few games go before I completely say anything. And actually I might end on this point. If we lose badly versus England, can we regain momentum? And actually, good point, Charlie's Island. And I'm going to end the stream with this particular point here. Believe it or not, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh both coming into West Indies group is a huge blessing in disguise. And let me explain why. Group A is now stacked. You've got West Indies, England, Australia, South Africa, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. And let me tell you why I'm not concerned by that. because now it makes it more likely that you only need to win 3 games out of 5 to make it through, and possibly on net run rate. You see, when you have a stronger group, it's more likely that people will be dropping points against each other. So if we'd had a Namibia and a Scotland in our group, then you basically know that everybody's looking to cash in against them, which means you have to win the game against an England, or you have to win the game against South Africa. But when your group is a strong group, you know people are dropping points all over the place. The likelihood of someone in Group A winning all their matches is slim. It's very slim. So do not be surprised if one team goes through having only won 3 games. So I actually saw that as a huge benefit when I saw Bangladesh and Sri Lanka go through, because I was like, actually, this makes it more likely that England will drop some points, Australia will drop some points, South Africa will drop some points. Does that guarantee West Indies going through? No, of course it doesn't. But it just gives us more. What am I trying to say here? It gives us more room for error. I hope some of you follow my track there and you see where I'm coming from. That group gives everybody more room for error because you can gamble that somebody might actually drop some points against somebody else. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm expecting net run rate to decide who goes through in second place in our group. So, boy, we best try win the group. That's all I'm saying. Yes, Contact. Apparently, there's 50 viewers live. You might be right, Contact. I don't ever remember seeing that any recent time anyway. So big up everybody who's been on. Like I say, Santoki's is flying out to the UAE in about 10 hours. So follow his account. Obviously, follow Carib Cricket. There'll be live content coming from the UAE. Wait a minute, only 23 likes? Nah, you lot are disrespecting. Smash up that like button, smash up that subscribe button. You know what? Tell the people to come follow Caribbean Cricket Podcast on YouTube. But people, I've gone over half an hour. If you're somebody who's watching this back, you couldn't join us for during the live stream. That's cool. Thank you for watching it all the same and sharing it with your peoples. And final thing, we've told people that we might be ending Caribbean Cricket Podcast after the World Cup. We're trying to work on that not being the case. But if you want to become a patron of Caribbean Cricket Podcast, drop us a little £1, £2, or whatever that translates to in the different currencies that people are in respective countries. Do so. No obligation to do so, by the way. But if you feel like doing so, by all means, that's in the description below so that we can keep this going. But big up all the West Indies fans. Big up everybody who's come into the live today. Try to get through as many questions as possible. You've asked me to try and drop one after the England game tomorrow, so I'll try and do that. But whatever the time is in your time zone, either have a good rest of the day, or if you're going to go to sleep in the next few hours, rest up nicely. Join me on Gorilla Cricket tomorrow for England versus the West Indies. Peace, people.